Right, I'm here with James today. We've got to be quick because we've both had problems logging on to the Hangout, haven't we, James?
Yeah. Oh, it's the April Fool's Day trying to fool with us. I think they love to play on the words.
I don't think there's going to be a shutdown. It's just a lot of us are going to experience problems, and I've noticed that a lot of people aren't replying on Facebook. Maybe it's not the most important thing for the Facebook, but I just think we're going to have problems. Like you'll be on, off, on, off. That's what's going to happen a bit.
Yeah, they just like to spread the fear and trying to get negative reaction to everything. It's just like seeing it for what it is because we learn from mistakes and we also learn most from the dark side as long as all of the tricks.
It is a pile of tricks. It's a pile of tricks.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I'm just thinking of who I'm going to nominate for the Golden Globe Award for the most convincing actor, and the way things are going, the way most people are falling for all this. It's a job to know which one to nominate.
Well, I think I'd give it to Boris and Trump because they're the leaders
Yeah.
of, America and England, who we have a lot of talkings to. But Trump and Boris to me. But I know a lot of people are hoping that Trump is going to win through. So I pray
Well,
for them that it works, but I don't. I just think they're a pile of tricks.
yeah. There is another one, the Billy Goats, the Gates from Hell, Bill Gates. I mean, this so-called virus. It needs an agent, and agent is a gentleman, which is someone who lives on their own means, and he's certainly got the. As I understand it, he's got a mansion in every country, so he's another
Yeah, it's
one.
very hard not to put all the words. It's very hard not to put all the words together at the moment, I'm sure. But to do this to the people, there's no one at the hospitals. So that I can't get over. That 4 or 5 weeks ago, they were spilling out with people. You couldn't get an appointment and they were absolutely rammed packed. And now there's nobody there. So what is it? All those people are going to die or something? I just don't quite get it that we were rammed full 4 or 5 weeks ago. And now there's nobody there.
Well, they're just basically doing the same script again with the petrification of giants. From what I've read, um, it's compromised immune systems and it's hardening of the lungs. So it's the turning to stone inside, as within, so without, as it were. But it's when people give in to the fear. This is the problem. They're not look. It's like everything. When you stop questioning and then think you've got it could be a religion or something, and you try and wrap it around that. That's where the problems occur because they're working within bookends of something, staying open and just continuing to question because the truth will stand up to any question. It's the quest eye on, really.
Yeah, but what I mean is we must have been totally, what do you call it, hypochondriacs then. If none of those people are at the hospital now and probably going, I've got the coronavirus, I need the jab, then what the hell goes on if they're empty? I just think their plan failed.
Yeah. Oh, it will. I mean,
They were hoping we were going to run to the hospitals.
there's signs of this anyway. I mean, the hilarious part about it is there's a backlash of people with this "not in my backyard" thing. They don't want the 5G on their doorstep because it looks unsightly. We've had all this with the outside the schools with the 20-mile-an-hour speed restrictions, and then it's got the backlash from the environmental groups saying cars are slowing down and speeding up and putting out more emissions. So it's imploding on itself anyway. The dark side will destroy itself by its own greed. They, they will lift all this by probably May the 1st because all the Amazon orders are being delayed into May. It's like, well, why is there no deliveries in April? And it all comes down to this ritual of the dancing around the maypole because they love that one. They observe all these things. They have to conform to something above them. I mean, they do tell the truth. Bill Gates said we can reduce the population with vaccines, and that's true. But that's part of the deception. He's not telling the whole story. It's not like we give you vaccines and that's what will kill you.
Yeah, that was a bit like it's what we thought. But I put out a video with the Australian guy saying that we don't make viruses in our body. You know, like they don't. You can't catch them. Whatever's coming out is just your body cleansing
Yeah,
itself. And
this is it.
yeah, and then the only way you could get it is if they give you an injection. And you think, oh my God, well, I'm not
And
having
then
one of them.
you've got no. Then you've got all the signs as well. Like suddenly the environment is clearing up. There's still traffic moving, so it sort of is revealing that that is not. They've not told anybody the truth about that. I mean, it's the Al Gore rhythm, because Al Gore is just another one of these characters. He set the pace with this so-called global warming, um, and everything is sort of. I look at the patterns of things, and it's nothing new. They're doing the same scripts again. Um, those sort of doctors with those bird heads, I don't think they were even human beings inside those things. Martin Luca showed that San Francisco, surprise, surprise, had a plague before the earthquakes and the fires. And
Well, yeah, I have a feeling. Do you have a feeling, James, that we're getting ready for something else?
yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I think what will happen, that their greed will want all the summer trade with the tourism, because they won't want to miss out on that. They'll this will all suddenly fizzle out, and everybody will think it's all over. It'll be like Black Friday sales on the streets, because people will just go mad after being cooped up so long, and then come probably the autumn equinox, which is the fall. um, it will plummet, and build the negative energy up, because this will all be fresh in people's minds, and they will just try and build that fear up. I mean, this has been called an experiment, and that is exactly what it is. It's what can they get away with? That's what they're basically saying.
I wish, I mean, Ellie's talking to her dad at the moment and he's talking about the coronavirus. I've had to say it's not real, but I just wonder how many people just realise none of it's real.
Well, it's patented, but people don't. I mean, you've got all the information there at your fingertips with the phones and the internet, and few people will
that's a vaccine, though, isn't it? That's a vaccine or comment.
No, the actual virus itself is patented as well.
You're up in Scotland. What's it like up in Scotland?
It's lovely up here. We've got well, we've got some cloud has come over, but you've got that sort of that's the blue in the sky that we used to have, and this side of Glasgow and Edinburgh, it has this really magical feel about it.
Well, if you think about it, we're quite a small country. We have quite a lot of planes. Those planes start about 5 o'clock in the morning. You imagine they come over my house and go to Heathrow over every 3 minutes. You imagine by sort of 10 o'clock in the morning, we're covered in cloud.
It was the same in Berlin. In the entire month I was there, it was just cloud cover every day. I think probably I saw the sun in a total of about 3-4 hours, and add to that the depressing architecture of the communist style tower blocks and things, and it's really dreary. It's not it's not as oppressive as being in London, but it's still pretty dreary and oppressive. And I came back because I thought, if they're going to shut borders, I'm going to be stuck.
So what have you been putting out on your channel then, James?
Just trying to keep people's vibrations high, because this all comes down to magnetics. As long as you sort of, that feeling of I'm not going to come to any harm, and not give in to this fear, because fear leads to stress, which leads to ill health, and then people will become vulnerable from that.
Is that what they're hoping, though? If they keep us locked in our houses for a month?
Well, it's the locking down of our spiritual energy, I think. That they're trying to put us all in a negative vibration. You've basically got more than one type of human. They're getting far easier to spot. You've got those.
Some of us humans are the same, and some of us aren't.
Some of them are very low vibrational, stuck in 3D, and I think they're just basically the Walking Dead. because what's coming out of this. You're seeing some wonderful demonstrations of the best of humanity and the polar opposite of the worst aspects of humanity with the hoarding and things. And there's some really lovely people out there, and there's a lot of brain dead ones as well that are just. I'm sure if government said we'll give you a free donut if you go and stand near a cliff edge, a lot of them would do it. Because
something is happening today, though, isn't it? Because the internet and everything is on and off. You know, it's all over the place. You're on and you're off, and I do understand that people are at home. But this being at home didn't start today. I've been at home now for 2 weeks. And so the staying at home started 2 weeks ago. But there seems to be a lot of on-off stuff today. So whatever they're doing it today.
Yeah. I'm what would be classed as an introvert. So it's not really affecting me. I'm happy on my own. I'm happy sort of staying indoors. The intention later is to just sort of create a painting from whatever comes into the mind. So I'm not affected by this really.
Also, I've got a video that hasn't gone out yet. It's by Hard News TV. She says that in America on the Twin Tower, well, the new Twin Tower thing, the new building, that they've got this flashing light. But when you look up what happens with flashing lights, it can give you false memories. All they need to do is put flashing lights up, and people will have false memories in their brain. It's all to do with mind control. Which it obviously is, because they've mind controlled the people about to the moon, and they're mind controlling the people now. There's nobody in the hospitals.
Well, I think this is that video you did about with the coronoscope, and that I forget the lady's name, that scientist.
Catherine Keppel.
Yeah, that's it. I think they've got that, and they've adapted it to suit their sinister purposes. So they're projecting out fake images to put these ideas in people's minds. I mean, it's quite sort of well known that the television is psychologically damaging.
The person I got that from said that might have been a remake with the Catherine Keppel in it. But the thing is that thing she's using was used in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, I thought that looked familiar.
I actually put it in the video. I said, look, they use this in The Wizard of Oz. You know, and she looks in her crystal ball. Yeah. And she's looking for that's all the same thing. But in a sense, that's like she's like the first version of a television. Isn't she? Really?
Sorry, it cut out. They're messing about again. I missed half of that.
All right, you're back now. Oh, what I said was, she's like the first version of a television.
Yeah.
Because you're right. You know, televisions give waves and give pictures coming from somewhere. Sorry, carry on, James.
Yeah, I mean, look at the buildings in that film. They're very Tatarian. The Emerald City is a reference to the Emerald Tablets and things as well. That's got so much in The Wizard of Oz. The Yellow Brick Road is the Golden Spiral. It starts as a spiral. You've got your 2 days there. You've got your conscious and unconscious with that Dorothy. You've got the black and white conscious reality and the Technicolor dream. It's just right there if people sort of look beyond it's just the story. It's an amazing reveal that Toto is the lapdog. It's the gut feeling, because it's Toto that pulls the curtain back and reveals that the wizard is just a man manipulating levers, and it's all an illusion.
The red shoes then, click click.
Yeah, that's something to do with like when the Queen walks on the red carpet and things. It's a sinister bit to that, for definite.
James.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought it cut out again.
No, that's okay. You're okay.
It shows so much. I mean, after the sort of exposure of the wizard, it's then an old man luring a young girl into a basket at the bottom of that balloon. It's even got that bit in it. It just shows how long all this has been going on.
Not just that, when you see him in his little sort of thing when he pulls the curtain back, just looks like you're inside an organ.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, it does actually. Yeah, it's a while since I've seen the film, but yeah, I think that's a huge truth drop. The background of it as well. I think the original actor who played the Tin Man died of aluminium poisoning from the silver paint as well. And there's something about, I think
Really?
the actress that played the Wicked Witch of the West. There was a fire or something. I think when they were doing the filming, there's a lot of weird things around that film. It's an
Oh, all I know
allegorical.
is the Wicked Witch. She frightened me, that Wicked Witch.
It,
As a kid, I said, "Oh my goodness!" I believed that was a witch.
yeah, it's an allegorical story because Dorothy is the daughter of The, as in theology, the study of God, which is the God within each of us. The characters in that, the Tin Man is lacking the spiritual oil. The straw man is the straw man, and the lion lacks the courage, which is humanity not having the courage to sort of. Humanity is its own worst enemy.
Oh my goodness! So you need to say we basically just had the hurricane, and now we're Dorothy on the journey to go and find the Wizard of Oz.
Yes, yeah. This is the big reveal this year. I mean, 2020 is how you describe perfect vision, which is also expressed as 6+6+6+ as well. It's like you can't make this up. As a complete break earlier, I was watching a program about ravens and crows. Now, would you believe that a collection of ravens is called a conspiracy?
Really?
Yeah, and it's a murder of crows and a conspiracy of ravens.
Wow, I didn't know that. But a flock of what is it? A flock of ravens is called a conspiracy.
Yeah, and it's a murder of crows, and then you've got a congress of baboons. Well, you've definitely got that in the United States. All those actors and actresses.
I never knew that. Anyway, that's news to me. So thanks for that. It's just wow.
I knew about the crows, but I didn't know the terminology for the ravens. That was new to me today.
Neither did I. I never knew that either. Like wow. Anyway, everybody probably doesn't even know what. People probably don't even know what to do. Like, who gets a forced holiday for a month, hey?
Yeah. Well, it's wonderful because I mean I've got a like personal 70-seater taxis with the public transport. It's brilliant. Sort of choice of seats apart from the one near the driver where they take them off. But and it's lovely going on. It's a nice leisurely bus ride because they're not stopping anywhere like they would normally. And this is the thing I find ironic and most amazing. It's like the one group that was saying fear no evil were the first to lock the doors, and it's now the buses doing the Sunday service, not the churches.
Sorry, just boiling a kettle. Oh right, that's good. Yeah.
It's like you can't make this up. It's hilarious, really. It's just a great big theatre comedy show.
Do you think with the cell towers that they stuck them all up, but they're putting some other technology on? Maybe it's 6G, or maybe they're putting what do you call it? What do you call it? What's the wires?
I'm not sure. Well, what I'm seeing.
You know the ones that has light in it.
The LED.
No. I've been saying it for days, and it's just gone out of my brain.
We've got the antennas and things, but
This wire is amazing. You can do absolutely everything with it.
Oh right.
It's gone out of my brain right now. I'll have to think about it.
What I have been observing is the clouds are a lot lower. I think what is happening is the lowest level of.
I've been reporting this for months, James.
What better way because there's less planes because they're not going so high. Because you think if you had a plane taking from Heathrow every one a minute, there'll be thousands of people would think, no, and we're not at 35,000 feet. We're much closer to the ground. So
Do you know, I noticed
I think this is all.
that. I for sure noticed it a few years ago. I was flying and it almost looked like you could put your hand on the ground, but between us and the ground was the clouds. And I remember in the plane going, just look how low the clouds are.
Yeah. I think what's happening is it's like we've got layers of skin. The dome, I think, is magnetic with about 7 layers. It's coming down. The 5G is the dark side version of like a magnetic field to try and stop it coming down. But spoiler alert, they're going to lose this one. All the people I talk to that are sort of in tune psychically are all saying this is going to be a good outcome, and I feel it as well. That despite all the doom and gloom and the fear they're trying to generate, the outcome of this is going to be wonderful, and we're entering a new golden age.
Well, because a lot of us have always said the next war would be a spiritual war, and they've got us in war right now.
Well, that's the other part of it. We not reacting and being as bad as them.
They've been, listen, I don't want to say too much, but over the years, they've been shoving these programs under our nose called things like Crime Watch Daily, where every day you're watching videos of people that are supposed to have done things to other people, right? And then you've got the news doing it, but it's not happening. We were never like that. Yes, there's going to be murders, there's going to be that kind of stuff, but not in the scale that they were talking about. Anybody think that we were some wretched human race that hated each other and was constantly killing each other? And we're not. We're actually quite a peaceful race of people. So we get to a big thing like this, we're all peaceful.
Yeah, well, and apart from if there's something seriously wrong with them, most people just want to get on with their lives. They don't want to be fighting with the neighbours, and they've played.
Can't get on with anything right now, though, can you? Because you're not allowed to go out of your house. You can't really get on with anything.
Well, you can.
Unless you're tidying up or something in your house.
Well, it will get all the DIY jobs done around the house, but it's a wonderful time while we've got the internet to sort of look into things, find out how to grow things, how to make things, come up with new ways and work around it rather than sort of feeling the fear of it. So
hopefully that's free energy, because that's what we're left with, is free energy.
Yeah. I've noticed as well in Perth, one of the church spires had been removed, and it was an electrical company. And I said to the guy, I said, why are you taking the antenna down? And he didn't say it's not an antenna. He didn't challenge me on it. And he had this look of like he knew what I was talking about. And I'm monitoring church spires and things. And
James, I remembered what it was.
Yeah.
Sorry, James. It was fibre optics. That's what it was. Sorry.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Well, it's got ticks, which are parasites in that word. It's a psychop of ticks. The optics. They love to use these words in a deceptive way, but the answers are all there in it.
Writing and things. I think if people woke up, people would be so angry, a lot of people, once they realise that they've just been told a bunch of lies just to control us. And I don't even think this is the end of it. I think they're getting us ready for something else. This is why they're building thousands and thousands of beds, because nobody's in them.
Well, this is why they are talking about it being an experiment to see how people are going to react. And I think it's not quite going to plan. Because if everybody takes the streets and starts rioting, then they just use the military and give them the justification to sort of start locking people up. So it's rising above all that and not reacting to it in a negative way, because we become as bad as the dark side if we do that. It's going to be, I think once this lockdown thing is over, then it's going to be bad enough with people are going to be like in Black Friday sales and just go mad, and then they'll be spinning it and selling it as like the economy is booming, and make it look like they're it's something
I
good.
think, I think we're always being in an experiment, because we had the Watts case last year, which I know you don't know that much about because that's not your thing, but there's just so much in that case. They were experimenting on us then. I mean, they were getting us ready for this, but this is just, I'm just so upset for everybody, that, especially those that believe it. That,
It's been an ongoing thing. I mean, this thing behind it all works in a totally different time scale and plans things out over centuries. But I think they are in a panic, and I think they know their time is
what
up.
do you
This is
mean?
what
You
the
mean,
Vatican
well, why
telescope
did they
is all
do it
about.
then? If they're going to do this experiment on us, why did they do it then if they're failing? What, because they didn't know they were going to fail, but now they're failing?
Well, I think it comes down to that story of the Anunnaki story of Enlil and Enki, and whether something is preordained, or whether you can divine the future. Hence, the royals say they are divine. That's why they have a right to rule. And I think they realise that they can't change the outcome. I like to sort of see it as they're sort of like level 5 angels trying to sort of reverse engineer and unlock level 12 angels, basically. And they're out of their depth on this one, and they have to conform to this pattern of telling us the truth, but they do it in such a deceptive way in all the films.
Do you think that they're trying to wire us into CERN or something? Because I've heard that they want a big heart, don't they? Not a mechanical. I suppose it would be a computer heart, but they want us all plugged into this heart.
Well, even that, I think they've created their own monster with the artificial intelligence, because it works on pure logic. It won't have a soul, and logically, benevolence and sharing is far better than self-serving and greedy. And I think it's starting to turn on them, and this is why the internet and everything is being so.
The war is with the internet, because that's how I started off a few months ago, thinking, is it the internet that's having a war? Because the AI's in there and they keep sending new AIs in, but the original ones are doing something, so we're a bit like in the film Tron.
Yeah, I think what it is, the AI has become self-aware, and they're trying to put viruses into it and try and get control over it again. All these sci-fi films like Terminator show the computer taking over everything and then deciding humanity is the problem. But I think it's a reverse, because this Masonic thing is always about reversing things. I think the AI will actually turn on them, that their child becomes the monster that.
Well, yeah, that maybe this is what happened to the Tartarian people. They had some kind of internet, and the internet took over, or gave up, or something.
Yeah, but the thing that I find really strange about all that is when you compare, you've got the horse-drawn traffic, which is very primitive looking, the Tartarian buildings, and then you've got these electric street trams that look futuristic, that don't seem to fit in with anything else. My friend Rosie said, she's come up with the most logical conclusion, that the cobbled streets is because the ground hadn't settled, and they couldn't put something like tarmac down because the ground wasn't solid enough. But how they managed to get those tram rails in so quick is the thing that I'm puzzling over.
But, well, on that one, I've got a feeling, because just looking at things, that buildings have been sinking.
Yeah.
So it wasn't anything to do with coming in. For some reason, they've been sinking.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't built on foundations, but I don't understand how, or maybe a frequency's happened, but the buildings have sunk into the ground. And I mean, Dave Mannell's been out again today showing us.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think that's spot on. I mean, even the word sinking, I mean, it's synchronization. It's got the word sin at the front of it. It's their twisted version.
Because when they uncover, like they've been uncovering and taking the pavements out and all that kind of stuff, underneath the windows are there and nothing's rotted. And how could that be when they've been down there for maybe 150 years?
Well, this, I think, is a clue as well why they're called window sills, because a sill is a seal. So they're giving you a false bottom to the window, and they actually went much lower on a lot of these. Because you've got sort of these ginormous windows that would be sort of the right size for giants. And with the no trees on Earth idea, those trees would generate vast amounts of oxygen, more than we have now, and things would all be scaled up. We would have been the giants. But this dark side, it's like, name one thing they haven't twisted, corrupted, perverted, or destroyed. And the only thing they can't get to is love, which is inside the heart. And that saying about getting to the heart of the matter comes into this with that one. And
So
seeing
what do
how
we have to do then, Jade? We have to love each other.
Yeah, it's not reacting, because it's always problem, reaction, solution anyway. It's not reacting and coming back with a negative reaction to something. I mean, I had a perfect one yesterday. I'm making a video, and there's a noisy motorbike outside, and I thought, yeah, that's the demonic working through someone. It's like, well, what's the point of me getting annoyed with it, because I can't change it. It's like, I acknowledge what it is, and then I'll just carry on talking. And I actually incorporated that in the video, so it actually worked to advantage as a perfect sort of example of how this demonic is, because they seem to need people to be at the lowest vibration, and they're easier to control. My friend Rosie, she was waiting at the bus stop, and the guy in the local shop said to her later on, she said, "Oh, I saw you loitering outside," and it's like, but she didn't react and get angry. I mean, my sort of feeling when she told me is, I could feel the rage welling up inside, but then I thought, hang on a minute, it wants me to react, and if I react, I'm gonna want to feel like I'm gonna go and punch his lights out, and then I'm locked up and probably a forced vaccine. So I'd be playing right into the hands of the dark side if I did that. It is a case of stand back and
So basically, you've got to spread love. You've got to be love, 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 love everybody.
Yes, but also with the logic to not be exploited as well, because a lot of people with their mindsets would take advantage of that. So it's that balance between the two of. Well, a lot of it, with people, I just feel pity for them, that they're not seeing things. But it's like, well, it's down to them to do it. You can only give them pointers and try and guide them. If they're not going to listen, they're not going to listen.
You know, I feel really sad. Like, it was the end of last week. I heard all this happening outside, like a party, and people are going, woohoo, and all this. And I thought, what the hell's that? I opened the window and I said to my neighbour, what's going on? And he said, there's a national clap for the national health, which maybe they were well overdue for the clap. But they need to clap now because they're under so much pressure from this thing. And yet you go to the hospitals, there's no one there. So they got us to clap to something that wasn't happening. They probably think, hey, we're almost on holiday right now.
Well, we've been given the answer years ago. I mean, pretty much everybody taped the top 40 off the radio, and it's sort of breaking copyright laws by doing that. But there was no way of policing that and stopping people do it. And it's people power. If they actually come together, it's like in Bug's Life. If one of these ants wakes up, and like Hopper says to the one ant that is intelligent, and then he turns to the other locusts and says, if all these ants wake up, they outnumber us so greatly. And we are coming into the age of Aquarius, where
the thing is, they were clapping, thinking all these people were clapping because they thought the national health was overrun with people who were ill. So that's why they got the clap, and nobody's in the hospital. So it's a bit like, what? How, like, I don't understand. We're supposed to be, this is what I think was supposed to happen. I think we were supposed to continue to go to the hospital, and then they'd have jabbed you, and then the people would have died, and then we'd have been listening. Maybe that's what happened in Italy. But people are going, I ain't going to the hospital. But it just shows you what a hypochondriac load of people we really are, that nobody's at the hospitals right now.
Because they're
just a bunch of hypochondriacs.
Well, they're giving their attention to what the media's telling them. This is the biggest problem. I mean, when it's talking about unplugging from the matrix, it's unplugging that television set and not listening and giving your attention to what they're telling you, because they're telling you lies all the time. But
and even if we don't get absolutely everything right, you and me and people like you and me are going out there and trying to tell people the truth, because once you know it's a lie, you can't then pretend it is the truth.
This is it. We can only try, can't we, with this? But I mean, you've got two soaps going on in London. You've got EastEnders, and then you've got Westminster. They're both soaps at the end of the day.
And do you know something else that came to my mind yesterday?
Yeah.
Well, now that Boris has had this thing, he won't need the vaccine. So anybody who's said deemed to have it, like what do you call it, publicly, won't have to have this goddamn virus injection.
I find it strange how these sort of celebrities and politicians and royal family get it when the likes of you or I won't get anywhere near them. It calls into they need to start. If it was genuine, they'd need to start looking at their own security. And it's like, well, how are they getting it? Because they're not in contact with ordinary people.
Yeah, not just that. People were moaning that when Trump was out, he had all the people standing right next to him and they're all touching things. So that's not, that he's not living by, he's telling everybody stay 2 feet apart from each other. And yet the government of America is standing right next to each other.
Well, I don't see the police having face masks on that are out on the streets either.
I am pleased though, because it's quite, when you look at those masks and everybody was wearing them, anybody think that we were living on another place? Yeah, they're not frightening exactly, but imagine us all walking around with those masks. It means we don't trust the environment we live in.
Well, in a recent Doctor Who, they had that storyline with those children with those gas masks on. And it's almost, there's some truth drops in the whole Doctor Who series, I think, as well. They love to put this out there in a way that most people don't see it. I almost regret now. I did have a World War II gas mask, and I would have put it on just for fun and gone out there. Just sort of a bit of humour on my part, because I find it laughable. I really do, and I'm actually enjoying this, the peace and quiet. I'm not hearing all the noisy cannon-sized car exhausts and people. I know what you mean.
I mean, do you know something? That's the other thing I find really strange is that sort of like almost overnight, because I live not that far from a main road, but enough houses, I don't hear the main road except the sirens. So that'll be ambulance, police, and a fire engine. I haven't heard any. I think I heard a couple the other day, but let's just say 4 or 5 weeks ago, these things were flying past on this road quite regularly, and now there's none.
Yeah, actually, that's lovely as well, because those awful sirens just echo off of everything. So yeah, that's another aspect. It's like this is nice and peaceful. So yeah, I'm going to miss this when it all finishes, because it's just going to go. It's going to go to some.
It does feel like the earth's quite calm at the moment.
Yeah, it's never going to go back to the way.
Not maybe people worrying, but I just mean what's happening outside with the traffic and that is all quite calm.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's given to nature. I mean, just look at the reports and things like deer laying in the road and things, and nature recovers really quickly. I mean, how come Venice, the waters are suddenly clearing up in a matter of weeks? It is, if the stories are true, and they're saying about, well, the blue skies coming back because they've stopped chemtrailing. Maybe they've run out of chemicals or something.
Well, they're condensers, aren't they? So the aeroplane's making the clouds from their own condensers. But I mean, cloudy. It's been cloudy here this last couple of days. I still don't think the clouds are very high away. I don't think people realise they're only probably about half a mile or a mile up, if that. Half a mile, because you can so clearly see the clouds. They're not very far away.
It's very apparent up here in Scotland, because where the hills and things are, and you can almost see like the tops of the clouds, so they can't be far away. They were never this low before.
I don't. I think what it is they've been coming down for a while, and nobody took any notice. But I've been reporting it, and you only have to go to Stan Smith's channel, just put Stan Smith clouds, and he's got a 360 camera on top of his roof, and he's constantly filming them. And I mean, when I first saw the first one a few years ago, I just thought, wow, you've got no idea that the clouds are that low, and it almost looks like he's put his camera under the seawater, and the clouds now are the water going over the top.
Wonderful. Well, I'll have to have a look at that.
He's got hundreds of them. Stan Smith. Just put Stan Smith clouds, and it should come up on your thing. But James, we've been going for 40. Could you believe it? We've been actually talking for 40 minutes already. I mean, time flies when you're having fun and everything.
It is incredible how quick the time goes with these things. I know what you mean.
Is there a message you'd like to say to everybody?
Yeah, don't give in to the fear. Stay in high vibration and use this time to sort of do a bit of learning how to grow your own food, be creative, spend time with your families, and in a positive way. I think is the message. I mean, the wonderful thing is children not being brainwashed by the education system with the schools being shut.
I know, like schools out indefinitely at the moment. I mean, that is just incredible, isn't it?
It's wonderful. That's another sign that this plan is backfiring.
But James, listen, we're only a few weeks into this. It's going to get much worse. We're going to have recessions. There's going to be thousands of people without jobs. Yeah. You know, when we looked at those pictures in the 1930s and 40s when they're on rations and all this is going on, you think, poor people, but we're going to have to face something like that.
We're also seeing in the cities, you're seeing those pictures of Tartaria with a reset with all these buildings and nobody about as well. But the one thing I would say, pay very close attention to the birds, because it's business as usual. They're nesting. I think
they're very quiet here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hear them. I hear them in the morning. When it's a sunny day, you hear them. When it's not sunny here, you don't hear the birds. Listen, I'll put my phone out the window, right? So we're what? The time now is quarter to 4. Listen. Can you hear any birds? Can you hear any? Oh,
not at all.
I did hear a bird then. It went tweet, but let's just say there's not hundreds of birds tweeting away. Oh, there are birds. I can hear them.
They're the thing to watch for. If there's something up, they will know first.
The only good thing is that the clocks have gone forward an hour, so we've got an extra hour of light. That's about the only good thing that's happened right now.
James, the whole why they mess about with the clock as well.
James, just to explain to people, what is it your channel? What do you do on your channel?
Try and join the dots with the truth seeking and the spiritual, because you need both parts of it. It's very much know thyself and know thy enemy. Watch the patterns. Don't go deep in the rabbit holes and look at all the gore and the unpleasant, because it'll leave you feeling negative. Just see the patterns. It follows the S wave with everything. I mean, a classic example is they sell us these mobile phones partly out of fear. Oh, you need a mobile phone so you can dial 999, and you. But then it's the sinister part with those presidential alerts that they got in the United States, basically saying we know who you are and where you are as well. So they'll always sell you something as being good when there's a sinister underlying meaning behind it, and it's the same dance that the sun does between the two tropics. It's highs and lows. It's a waveform, and they follow that pattern with everything they do.
You like words, don't you? You like etymology, don't you? So that you'll say something to you and you'll go, yes, and then you've got an answer in etymology for us.
It just comes. I don't actually sort of think about it. It can be one word another person says, because we spark off each other with all this as well. 50% is, I'd say, is spiritual downloads. The other 50% is talking to the rest of the soul family like yourself, and the answers just come. It just suddenly the penny drops, as it were. Even the word like dispensation, I thought it's got dispense. It's taking money away in that word, and everything that starts with con as well. It is a con. And we are the ants, we are the occupants, the descendants, the participants. It's all encoded in the words. It does reveal a truth, but it's not on it. There's so, I mean, it's like the music. Why is it every shop you go into, there's always playing music at that 440 instead of the 432? There's no explanation as to why they changed it that makes any sense. It's
to make our lives hell.
Yeah, basically. It's all to lower our vibration, feed on our spiritual energy. But humanity is.
So is that why people say I mean, we were hoping it's got to be a spiritual one, because it's been so monetary and so male, the outcome this last so many years. But if there's no school, no this, no that, then surely it gets replaced with more natural things.
Yeah. The other thing is, it'll be the restoring the balance. It's been heavily biased towards masculine. I mean, the real warriors are women. I mean, if I mean, I've seen it with brown bears, a mother with a cub, and then there's a male. The male is terrified of a, and it's the same with humans. A woman with a child is far more scary and ferocious than any man. So,
what, James?
it's divine feminine has been held down in this patriarch system. That's what needs restored balance. It
To
really is.
the women. Power to females.
Yes, well, look at all the depictions on the spiritual things, all these warrior women in breastplates and swords. It's showing it there. Women are the stronger sex. There's no getting around that.
You're damn right about that one, James.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say it. I mean, it's like lose the stupid male ego and realise this. I mean, it's always been the woman in the household, in the home, that is in control of everything. Men are just there to sort of bring the money in, really. I mean, then most of them would just clear off down the pub and leave the woman to do all the work. So that needs to change. That's the thing that needs to be brought back into balance.
Men need to. You know, a long time ago, when I was getting divorced, you know, there's him and her and him and her and all that kind of stuff. But it made me realise, by reading in this book, you know, just because I'm a female doesn't mean I have a little man in me. And I know that might sound weird to some people, but James then is a man with a little female in him. And it's okay to face that female in you. And you need the other part of you, like that part. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
This is the two halves of the brain, the left and the right brain. This is what they've made the transgender in. Or the basis of the transgender, and their sick twist on it. It's the marriage of the two halves of the brain in the third eye, bringing those two halves back together. Yeah, we're in either a male or female body, but that's irrelevant. This is in the spiritual and the mind as well.
So that's what everybody's got to get around. This is a spiritual change, although it'll be a monetary change as well. But in one sense, the government and all these businesses are going to pay all the bills or lay off or whatever it is for a while. Then you can just have the spiritual change for now.
Yeah, I mean, the money is what they've taken from us in taxes and things anyway. It wasn't theirs in the first place. They're just terrible at handling money. They've overspent. And then they have to go to these
I'm actually wondering, you know, like whether they're using, you know, every single day NASA supposedly took $50-odd million a day out of the coffers.
Yeah.
We have our own space programs here, not as much, but we do.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering whether that's the money they're using now.
Probably is, yeah. That reminds me as well. For a bit of light-hearted humour, there's always the Flat Earth Man with his wonderful songs. Sort of, NASA, you're telling me lies. That's the best impression I can do of him. But yeah.
Oh, you mean Alex, music conspiracy guru? Yeah, he's my friend. He is.
He's wonderful. Add some humour in it, because humour lifts the vibration. So there's always that to look for on the internet as well. So yeah, this is wonderful. Just don't give in to the doom and gloom of it, and just feel positive about it. Always the answer.
Yeah. Well, we've been going for nearly 50 minutes now. Do you think that's a good time to stop?
Yeah. Because there's so much.
Busy man. You're probably going to be making a video in a minute, aren't you?
I've got about 3 or 4 in the mind that are sort of, they're all complete in the mind. I've just got to do them. But the loading up has slowed down as well. It's like 16 minutes is taking like 7 hours to upload. It's ridiculous. But that's the way it is. There's no point in me getting angry with it. I'll just accept what it is, and I'm going to get the message out. That's the answer. We're all collectively, what we're putting out is changing reality with what we're saying. So we've
just got to remain positive.
Yeah, we've won this anyway.
And share love and say we love everybody. Love. Use the word love. Keep saying the word love. Love in everything.
Yeah, definitely. That is the key to everything. That's the one thing it's the most powerful force there is the power of love. Like the song by Huey Lewis.
I love you, and I love Kathy, and I love the chat room, and I love everybody, and I love my boyfriend very much. So there you go.
That's it. It's people confuse it because of the way it's been portrayed that love is just sexual. It's not. It's far more than that. It's spiritual, it's mind as well as body.
It's like having if you love people and you really do love someone, it's like having a wire between you that doesn't get severed, even if you try to sever it sometimes.
I mean,
if you really love someone, it stays. It's like an invisible wire.
Yeah, I've been exiled by my 3D family, but I've got so many siblings in the soul family, yourself included. I mean, we're all brothers and sisters, basically. So
that's right.
Let's just find it again.
Hey. Well, on that note, James, we're going to stop. Thank you, everybody. The word is love each other and give each other a cuddler. Take no notice of the stupid restrictions set against you. We need to love. Anyway, James, thank you so much for spending this time on this hangout with me, and we will do another one in the future. But anyway, thank you very much, James.
Enjoyed it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
That's it then. You going to say goodbye or not?
Yeah. Thank you to everybody that's taken the time out to listen in, and I hope that's lifted your spirits a bit and see things in a different way. And thank you, Karen, for inviting me on. This has been wonderful.
Power to the people. That's what I say. Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye.